I just realized that I was putting out no sound, so sorry about that. As I was saying, sorry for being late to the stream. Just woke up about 25 minutes before the stream started, and I'm trying to get my bearings. So my hair's not brushed, and I am disheveled and a wreck, as is the way of things on July 5th. Oh, hey, James. Hey, if it holds up, it holds up. If it doesn't, well, you can always catch it on VOD if I record it on VOD. Or put it, I will. I probably will. So today, we're doing Captain Commando. I'm going to try for 45 minutes. And then on Friday, I'll try for my full... Oh, my God. I am not a morning person. This is going to be the most difficult part of the game. It's me just literally trying to hold my shit together. So, yes, booming all night. Stuff going on outside of our, like right outside of our property line that had us worried. But I think everything's fine. I know there were a ton of fires. Awesome. Way to show your love for America. Just burn up as much of it as you can. But yeah, so also let me know if the sound is off. I think everything should be fine now. The sound on the game is lower. My sound is actually working. So without further ado, let's try and get 45 minutes out of this thing. This is another one I've never played, just FYI. Or I have played it and have forgotten. I've played the character in other games. So, oh boy, well, I'm gonna be a baby and a robot. That goes without saying. Beating up the Foot Clan. Oh, I have played this before. I don't know if I've played it on stream, but I do remember these guys specifically. Oh, I got too much sun yesterday. So we went over to a friend's house. Ian, if you don't know who Ian is, check out Mr. Dodo Bird on any of the social medias, or Ian Hubert on Twitter. He is a VFX master, fantastic human being. But I was actually over there for my friend Lux. Ian was very, very sick. I'm a mech. Oh, that's great. So I'm a baby in a mech in a mech. This I can deal with. Hey, Merc. This is like the best baby Bjorn ever. The kind that can kill people. Yeah, saw that coming. And now I'm a baby in a mech with a gun. Perfect. Absolutely perfect for the 4th of July. Well, the 5th of July now. Hey, no problem at all. Yeah, America indeed. Hemming a shirt is awesome. So I hope that it went well. These guys are straight out of Streets of Rage, I swear. Well, in fairness, Streets of Rage kind of pulled some dudes from Final Fight. Jump out of bed and head to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of nunchaku. Oh, nope, there's electric. You wouldn't electrocute a baby. You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a car and then use it to electrocute a baby. I would. Wait, so under the museum Are these still exhibits, or are these actual? Because that's a real fire. So is this like a Demolition Man scenario, where this is an underground museum, or is this an actual group of people living on the last mammoth they killed, living down here? Hey, Fade. Not much, just woke up late at about noon, just thought that I had to get to Compton soon. Basically, well, there's fire reflecting in their eyes, but you're right, that's not moving. Maybe they see this a lot, you know? Maybe this is just like an old hat for Homo habilis. Yeah, you're right. Be fun if it was the other thing, though. Okay, you're gonna get Janetti, who is the knifiest, flashiest. I feel like they had a thing against a particular style of character at this point. Yep. Okay, what's my special? That's fine. They love those burning sprites at Capcom. I think if you can only stab as hard as someone else can punch, maybe like superheroing isn't the way to go. I feel like you got to have something else other than very lightly stabbing people. Like being a baby in a mech, that tracks. You know, baby's got to eat. Practicing my stabbing. Perfect game to, a perfect Japanese game to discuss American mediocrity. I've got a knife, therefore I'm a hero. Wasn't Ninja Assassins like literally maybe that's it. What happened? Well, they took away my, okay, well now you've got a gun. This is the way. Musashi. Mukashi, Mukashi, Musashi, Musashi. Pardon me. Gotta eat a banana split. He seems to have something else going on. Oh, I cut that person's skin off. That's terrible. It was a little flaccid, yeah. That's true. More knives in every box do make you a better hero. Eat your Wheaties. Common ninja weapon, full on arterial grenades. Oh, he just takes those. He does not throw them. Hershey's. Oh. Yeah, the cutting their skin off thing is nice. That's... Oh. Oh boy! Perform for me! Yes. In the corner where everyone loves to watch fighting games happen from. Well, that was certainly a thing. I was trying to pick someone else, but I didn't. Oh, he just blows up. I was hoping you did something more baby-like when you do a special. It does have a dash attack, which is nice. Feels good to play, I'll say that. Feels really crunchy. Okay, so they all do that weird-ass multiple thing. Okay, looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 more stages. Well, I want that hammer, obviously. Oh, I didn't get the hammer. I thought I'd have time. Oh, okay. I guess down I go with no choice. Just gonna get those out of here. Box busting bus boxer. Indeed. This kid's got really good hand-eye coordination for an infant. Oh man, I just got slapped by a giant cactus. Oh, slapping is really all he's got. And I keep walking into it. Well, he's pretty vanilla. This feels like spoilers for the next season of The Boys. Here come the... Oh, they just drop right on him. Show. Well, that's certainly an end battle. Whoa, got too comfortable there. North Camp, Seaport, okay. Right in half. I guess his name's Honcho. Well, he is shooting first. Just steal from the turtles as much as you can, while also blatantly I got some tempura shrimp there, I think. Oh, you can't kick those. Yeah, you can. Okay. Weird. Yeah, I'm mowing them down in the vein of Curly and Mo and Larry. Oh, timer stages suck. Yeah, this feels really good. This is a fun game to play so far. Very, I don't recommend a lot of these, but this one's definitely a recommend. Getting a little repetition here, but it's not as bad as Undercover Cops. I'm getting flashbacks from. Let's just get you out of here. From Golden Axe. Everybody trying to double up on the animals. Yeah, very quick stages. Oh, I'm going into a shark. That's pretty cool. I shall call him Bruce, as was the style of the time. Mookie, no! I did the wrong thing! I think I'm doing myself a disservice here by pushing left. Oh, I am tired. Okay, that wasn't actually that bad at all. Okay, well, there's that jerk that I hate. It looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with a gun, and there's two of them. This guy's a little easier to hit him with. Juggle time. Yeah, we're keeping him for a bit. Those were just points. I'm an idiot. Oh, yes. That is Dick by name, Dick by nature. Okay, looks like two more little levels. This is not going to get me to 45, which is fine. Ninja with an AK, ninja with an AK. Maybe the moon, yeah. Hopefully. Oh, I was hoping to get some of those barrels. Sasuke! So I'm not hungover, but you know that feeling you get when you haven't slept well in a long time and you suddenly oversleep? That's what I got. So I think today's going to be a pretty good day overall, but this is pretty tough. Not the game, but just being upright. I'll tell you right now, I wanted to go back to bed, but I'm just to a point where I can physically do this again. Oh, a lot of weapons. Got to put on your party dress. Also, the air quality has been, that was really appropriate. Also, the air quality has been a bit shit because of the fireworks. We haven't gotten any of the fire from Canada yet, thankfully. Really? Puke? You gonna puke on me? Yeah, the tired sleepy when you've only slept 4 hours is worse. I'll give you that. Indeed. My lord, indeed. So I have been, I need to get back to it, but I've been trying to play Final Fantasy 16, which has been really cool so far. Yeah, we're sticking with Show enough. He's got the glow. Very Game of Thronesy up front. I've heard that it gets more Final Fantasy past the 20 or 30 hour mark. But right now it just sounds like Game of Thrones with Final Fantasy lingo, which is great. Honestly, I love it. I love it. I'm much more into what it is now than most other games in that genre, or that series. All right, this looks like a guy who's going to space. And I'm gonna just jump down the hole. So I love Final Fantasy as a kid, the 2D ones. I spent a lot of time playing 4 and 6, which were released as 2 and 3 here. And they were just quite good. 6 is the last mainline Final Fantasy I've actually just loved. Oof, that was uncalled for. And yeah, I'm dead. First of all, in 6 you can suplex a train, which more games need that. Like an actual locomotive, you can just suplex that fucker, which is fantastic. Okay, there's gonna be another form at least, right? I mean, Oh, okay. Oh, heading off to Saturn. Callisto. Oh, the moon of Saturn, but it would be too tiny. Space! Punches in space! How dare. I feel like we're getting close to a boss rush, just knowing Capcom games. Give me a shrimp, give me a fire, give me that which I desire. Sharks in space. Duck, you should have paid attention to your name, buddy. Oh, I am feeling it. Take that, Kyle Gas. Oh, Kyle Gas indeed. Okay, this is getting a little lazy, but again, it plays better than Undercover Cops. That guy's new. What? The shit? You're me. Kinda. Doppel, that makes sense. That or you're gonna show me the weather. Doppler. I guess that would be the next step up. And it was all yellow. Now who? Now whom? Both them. You science experiment gone wrong. How dare you? Oh, they both got life bars. That sucks. Yes. Yes, that's, unfortunately, that is the way of the game. They had very limited I don't know. It's pretty bad. At least I get to fight Rando Macho Man Savage. Or let's call him Randy Mucho Man Savage for copyright reasons. Hey, Skip. Because you're garbage. Haha, box full of enemies. Nice. Give me that. I want that laser. Oh, already got a laser. I like that laser. Checking to see if I got it for free, but I don't. I do love games where if you get to low health, you get your special for free. Just get on his tip. Take that, Dougal. Dolg. It's Doug. You sound like an asshole when you say it that way. Okay, I'm over Mondays. Anything I can do at this point is cake, gravy cake. Oh, you've got a new white power bar. I have not seen that yet. This is the time when you lose every quarter. Okay, doesn't look like he can be hit when he's flashing. Wow, nice reach, buddy. Ooh, so that is okay, that's flat. Good to know, I thought I had to go around it. White or mangrove. Susan? And you will notice that the special, if the special doesn't connect, it does not charge me, which is always nice. I am not above spamming special. This guy sucks. Typical Capcom, just absolute cheese end boss. But at least he's down to a color I've seen before. Oh, I still got hit by him. That's funny. Getting out of the way of those are really hard. The up and down is the slowest. Maybe jumping. I don't know. But he's down to just a regular old health bar now. Provided there's not a second phase. Okay, so get up to the top of, okay, not jumping. They are planar based. Okay, no. Yes, I'm on Callisto, I believe, which is so small you can walk on it inside of a ship. Gotta love the original naming here. Genocide. Cool. Okay, I'll just die. Come back with more health. Take that, you devil-y Honda piece of shit. Show defeated the genocide. If only it were that easy. Maybe you should go to Rwanda, not Callisto. All right, well, I'm gonna keep pushing to 45 if I can. So I may just chat. Yeah, maybe it was the, I was actually fighting the government red tape to get Honda switched over to EV. That's why it was so hard. Okay, that's gonna fall off. So if you hear me say shit, that's what's going on. Got about 10 more minutes here to chat. That is cold, James, but also incredibly true. Incredibly, incredibly true. Hey, James and Scott, they did this. Captain Commando. Look at me. I'm the Commando now. No, they didn't really, Merc. They're just, there was a James and Scott in the credits with no last names. So, no last names means you can take credit, right? If you're a James or a Scott. It had women. You just beat them up. It had plenty of misogynistic violence, like Capcom side-scrollers usually do. And we don't know, that baby could have been a girl. Yeah. But as you can see, if you missed out at the beginning of the stream, they definitely referenced a specific game a little bit when making this one. Very TMNT. Jame. Jame means usurper. Or Jamezu. Or Jamezu. Or Jamuzu. Or Kamaru. It's Kamaru, isn't it? I just realized you're going by Kamaru on here. Fuck, remember Usurper? That door game on BBS's? You probably don't. You're very, yeah. No, he is just a, oh, he's a mummy. I couldn't tell that. I'm on CRT over here, so stuff's a little harder to see. You're getting the RGB feed. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, like my name's Andrew, which means close to God, apparently. So you're coming for him, you gotta go through me, apparently. Michael first, probably. Yeah, the best game with mummies in it, hands down, has gotta be Metal Slug 2. It's just so much better than any other mummy game. I have, well, no. Anubis in Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers. Frankly, better than most of the Street Fighter 2s up until you get to Alpha, which isn't a 2, so there you go. That is hilarious, actually. I love that. I want to meet a James whose real name is Jimmy. But he calls himself James because he hates being called Jimmy. I had a cousin or a cousin's friend whose birth name was Bob, not Robert, Bob. So that was fun. Oh, excellent. Queen, we had to be both, Queen Leader. Yeah, my full name is Close to God, Friend of the Sea, Cart Builder. And then comes from Dopiral, Poland. Because it was basically, the ski is basically like a Vaughn situation where you're of the region. So I am the Close to God, Friend of the Sea, Cart or Shipbuilder from Dopiral. I don't know how to pronounce Dopiral. I think it's Dopiral, but I don't know. So that's fun and stupid and dumb. And then my birth family's name is of the coast, or in Spanish though it's just Acosta. So versus de la Costa, which is the Italian version of it. Huh. Oh no, I'm on blue sky. What does that mean for me, the fade? I just found out Blue Sky uses blockchain, which it's not making money. It's literally just logging messages. I think that's the one. That's the legitimate use for blockchain. But it also means edits can never be added. So, moon chased. That's pretty awesome. It's very, very Sailor Moon, very Ben Presto. My favorite, you didn't do anything. And I'm out. I'm getting massive Tuxedo Mask vibes from that sign dude in Tears of the Kingdom. I think, first of all, favorite part of the whole story is that there's a Bolson construction worker so bad at his fucking job, so terrible at his job, that they tell him, go fucking put up signs. Just go put up signs. We don't fucking want you here, go put up signs. And he's so bad at that, he's stuck on the very first one. So you make these contraptions, and he acts like, he's like, here, let me pay you a bunch of, it's very Elon Musky. Here, let me pay you a bunch of stuff and say I did it. And then you see how he builds things, and you're like, yeah, I would have given him a bullshit job to get rid of him too. He's so bad. But that is like legitimately my favorite piece of the lore. And if your favorite piece of the lore is a side quest sign character, that's not great, is it? That's not great. So, still very funny. There's like a billion of him too. He's everywhere. I think he's related to Beetle. I heard someone hacked out culling, character culling, and got all of the Beetles together. And I think that's hilarious. They got the Beetles back together. But yeah, that royally cracks me up. All right, 3 more minutes, folks. You just have to listen to me complain for 3 more minutes. And then I will have met my personal quota and can go die in peace. Which is, frankly, pretty compelling right now. No, I actually feel okay. Just tired. Yeah, I already talked to Chris because I'm unemployed. So I was like, hey, Chris, I'm available for Gen Con. He never responded back though, sadly. So I don't think they have the money to add anybody else. Because Christian specifically asked me if I would come to help out with the improv stuff, but Ode never got back to me. So it sucks, but it's understandable. I've not been, you know, I had a day job. I couldn't be as useful to Zoe as I've been in the past. And once you're not useful, I mean, they don't need you. So, he's been, I could, but it's too late now to get tickets. So they've already got their hotels figured out and everything, and who they're bringing. So, but yeah, it is what it is. No big deal. There's always next year, maybe. My hope is to be invited to cons based on stuff I'm producing outside of Zoe. The stuff Ian's making is fantastic, absolutely, positively fantastic. So if I can help him out at a con, that would be a lot of fun. I think Ian's putting out some of the best work Seattle has ever seen, so by far. I mean, he's taking meetings with a bunch of names you'd know, your parents would know, you know, like Hollywood legacy types. So that's, to me, that's the Ian Hubert. So if you go to YouTube and look up Ian Hubert, you'll see Dynamo. It's a show I've been in a couple times. I help with it all the time, helping with it this week, in fact. He also goes by Mr. Dodo Bird on Twitter. But yeah, Ian Hubert, Dynamo Dream, check it out. Linking back to Scott and some other folks, Ian was the VFX person for that Depth movie that ever got made. Not Ian's fault, not anyone's fault but Don Thacker's. So definitely give his work a look. It's fantastic. He did Project London, which had Jen Page in it. He did that back when he was in college. So he was just a wee lad, and now he's doing stuff. He did an Ed Sheeran video. He's been on Corridor Crew. He's just fantastic. He's done a bunch of commercials, but yeah, go check him out, Ian Hubert, on YouTube, and like I said, Mr. Dodo Bird on all the other stuff. All right, I'm at 45 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and wind this down. Oh, I think I can make it on Friday. Very hopeful. But thank you for joining me, and I hope to have some new stuff to share with you folks soon. I have no idea what post is looking like on JQ. Last I talked to anybody, Ollie had sent it off for assembly, but I haven't heard anything since then. Not that I'm not on post, so why would I? But yeah, I'm guessing there's gonna be something to show at Gen Con, or at the very least, that's their goal. It may not be done, but again, you may know more than I do about that. So, without further ado, thanks again. If you have any ideas for games, jump on our Discord server. The link should be down at the bottom of the stream, and let me know, or just pop them in the chat. Always looking for game ideas. Arcade with continue, yay. Console without continue, probably gonna see me fail, which is fine if you wanna see me fail. I know a lot of people do. So have a good one, and I will talk to you soon.